Good morning, Clear Fork Middle School parents, students, and staff. Today is number 4 video in our series of Welcome Back to School videos. Today is Wednesday, August 6th, and here are the concepts we'll be covering today. Today we'll be taking a look at attendance and how we'll be doing attendance for both in-person and remote instruction. I'll talk a little bit about the survey that is going out, and I will also talk a little bit about our special education services. So there's a little headliner for you on what to expect during today's video information session. So we're starting with attendance today, and the first thing you need to know, attendance is going to be based on students watching the lesson, participating in the lesson, and the actual work they produce based on that lesson. So when students are face-to-face, lessons are projected on the board. They're getting credit for watching that lesson because the entire class is there. They'll get whatever points are being assigned to participating in that lesson, and then they'll be doing the work that comes with it as soon as the teacher is done lecturing or explaining the concept or the project. If we have remote learners, they will be looking at the same lesson at the same time. They will have the availability to participate in that lesson. Teachers will have times where they are going to be able to say, do we have any remote learner questions? Any questions out there? Questions can be typed and students can read the questions to the teacher in the classroom. So we have multiple ways that the students that are doing the remote education can participate in the lesson also, even though they're not actually sitting in the classroom. So what we're doing is attendance is based on logging in and participating in that lesson, whether it be a lecture or a collaborative group project. Whatever is going on for that lesson that day, the participation points will be assigned to it, and that's going to help us with our attendance. The other thing that will be happening is there will be work assignments that students have to complete, whether it's a number of math problems or reading a science article and answering questions, and attendance is also going to be based on completed assignments. So if your child is not logging in and looking at those things and then not finishing those assignments, we will run into issues where they will not be getting attendance credit, and you will be getting a call from the school and they will be letting you know, hey, we've had 2 or 3 days in a row, your child has not participated, here's what's going on, here's where they are with their attendance. So be aware, it becomes very, very important to make sure that your child, if they are doing the remote education option, are logging in and participating in that lesson. We will have times that our face-to-face instruction goes to remote instruction, whether it be because the governor has mandated that we are a purple county, or whether it is a situation where there's been a COVID exposure. So we at that time may be doing some remote education for our face-to-face students, and the same thing applies. Lessons will be delivered at the same time, and the grading will be done the same way, and attendance will be done the same way. So I just want to make sure everybody understands how we're doing the attendance, and that you're able to make sure that your child is logging in every day and participating in those lessons. The next thing we're talking about is the survey. We will be sending out a survey later this evening or maybe earlier tomorrow morning. The survey is going to ask several questions. And so the very first question is whether or not you want face-to-face instruction or remote instruction for your child. Once we've established that, we are going to ask questions about choir and band and cult time. So I feel as if I've gone over those quite well. The only thing I want to go over is for our parents that are doing remote instruction for their children, we are going to ask, if you don't want band or choir, that you sign up for that cult time. There will be the occasional weekly lessons that we are going to ask children to sign in for and participate in for the character education. Principals are going to come in and guest speak during that cult time. We're going to have some guest speakers, and we're going to ask students to log in for that. But that is not necessarily going to be an everyday, you have to log in at this time and participate. We will make sure that students know the schedule. So if there is something that they need to be logging in for, that will show up in their cult time class on Google Calendar, so they'll know those specific days, I do need to log in for this information. It's also a great time to get some homework help so they can be on and chatting with their teachers to get any additional help they need with their assignments at that time. So the survey, again, will go out tomorrow. possibly later this evening. We are trying to wait right now to send that survey until we have the updated plans for the district and for the buildings, so that anybody that is trying to make that decision can read the latest update, since we've had that mask mandate for students for K through 12. So I know that that mask mandate may change your decision a little bit, and we want to make sure you have all that information in your hands before we send the survey out to you. Our last topic for today is special education. So I've had several parents contact me and ask, what will special education look like for my child? So I wanted to go over a little bit more in-depthly what that will look like for our students. So our students that are doing inclusion, which, just to clarify, inclusion is where you have special education students and general education students in the same classroom. You have a teacher who is teaching the lessons, and you typically have a second adult in there, whether it is the intervention specialist or an aide, assisting with the lessons. The idea is that the second adult in the classroom is able to help walk around the classroom and answer questions for all students. So even though they're assigned to be helping special education students, the idea is we're trying to free up the teacher that she or he can help all students, so that additional adult is helping all students in the classroom also, just to make sure that everybody's getting what they need to be successful with that lesson. So that is our inclusion classroom, so it will include those additional supports. Any supports that are outlined in the IEP will also be provided. So if it's small group testing, if it's a read aloud, those things will be happening, and those services will still continue. If your child receives any speech therapies, occupational therapy, or physical therapy, those will also be happening too. So there will be a set schedule for pull out or for Zooming for those therapies for your child, so that they are able to still continue to get those therapies. Our special education teachers, our intervention specialists, will also be providing additional assistance. Several of them are talking about setting up a time later in the evening that they can do a homework help time, and then that way the child can log in, talk to them, and get any additional assistance they may need that night while they're trying to complete any homework that may be due by the end of the day or first thing the next day. So we will be providing all the same services we were before, just some of them may be done remotely versus in face-to-face. So it is still going to be all the same services though. So that's it for today. I've covered my 3 topics. We are looking forward to topics on pickup and drop-off in the morning. We've had several parents concerned about that in emailing. We're going to be covering safety and sanitation coming up. We're going to cover a little bit of technology and camera, so those, you know how those work, and we'll be covering free and reduced lunch. So a couple more topics headed your way. If you have any additional questions, please contact us, email, call, and we are getting close to covering the majority of the topics we have outlined for our video series. So as soon as we've covered all those, we will stop until we've received more questions and think maybe we need to get some more videos out there. So if you do have questions, please let us know so we can share with everyone in the community. I hope you all have a good day, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.